welcome back to International in Groningen, a podcast all about international student life in Groningen. Last episode, we talked all about finding a student job in Groningen, a very important but sometimes stressful topic. So if you want to check that out for any tips or crazy work stories, check out our last episode. But today we're talking about another fun topic, learning Dutch as an international student in Groningen. And our guest to talk about this today is Tabata. So welcome, Tabata.
Hi.
So we're going to talk all about, do you have to learn Dutch if you live in Groningen or the Netherlands? Is it hard to learn? How does it help you interact with Dutch people? All these questions and more. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from and what are you doing in Groningen?
Yes. Hi. My name is Tabata. I'm 23 years old. I'm clearly not Dutch. I'm from Spain. And I've been living in the Netherlands for the past 7-8 months, I think.
Only 7-8 months?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
But I've been in contact with the Dutch language for the past almost 6 years because my boyfriend's Dutch. Okay. So yeah, I've been listening to the weird language since 2019.
Okay, so how did you meet your boyfriend then?
Ooh.
If you want to share.
Let's keep it PG. We met in Mallorca because I'm from Mallorca and he was doing his internship in there. When he was doing MBO, I think it's called. Well, it's like the Dutch thingy. And he was there and then we met in a bar and then we just started hanging out every day more and more and more. And then, it was very organic wise. Nobody, of course, I was not looking for a relationship. He was also not looking for a relationship. I mean, he was on an internship. His plan was not staying in Spain, you know? But yeah, I guess we fell in love. How cringy does that sound? Anyway, so and then we started dating. And after that, he moved to Spain.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
So we just moved together from Barcelona because we then moved to Barcelona. And now we moved from Barcelona to Groningen. Very weird jump, I know. But yeah, really cool.
Okay, so now you've been living in the Netherlands for a little bit, but your experience with the Dutch language goes back, I guess, to when you first met him. So when you first met him, were you immediately like, okay, I'm going to learn Dutch, or how did you go about it?
Well, when I met him, I was actually learning German because... Well, for anybody that knows Mallorca, it's German people say it's another state of Germany because it's full of Germans, and indeed it is full of Germans. So yeah, I used to hang out in the German area with my friends. So I was really interested into the language. So I started going to an academy, German academy and everything. But then I met him and then he I never actually paid attention to Dutch ever before. And we still call it with my friends satanic because at the beginning it's literally impossible to figure out what are they saying. The everywhere. Anyway, so the Germans are the sh and the Dutch are the ch. So yeah. But yeah, I was there learning German and then I stopped learning German and I started picking up Duolingo because he also started learning Spanish. So it was sort of at the same time. He was learning Spanish and I was learning Dutch. But very, very light. I was not really taking it serious at all. But I learned the basics bread, which is the first thing that Duolingo teaches you for any reason. So yeah, brood, boterham. That was it. That was everything I knew. And ik hou van jou. That was the first thing, which means I love you.
That's sweet.
And of course, and that was it. And curse words, but we're not going to say that here.
Okay, and then, so had you learned it already a little bit before you moved here, 8 months ago, or?
Yes. So then, we've been dating for almost 6 years.
Right.
So in those 6 years, I've been coming to the Netherlands sometimes. All his family speaks English, so it was really good to communicate with me. But yeah, some of his family members don't really speak either well English or not English at all. So for me was I like to speak with people, so it was not super nice that I couldn't completely speak with them or having a proper conversation because either they were not understanding what I was saying or the other way around. So yeah, I started learning Dutch by listening to them and by imitating what they said.
Okay.
So I started, for instance, following influencers online related to topics that I already liked, so beauty influencers and or lifestyle and whatever, and they spoke Dutch. So yeah, my boyfriend was like, what are you watching? And I'm like, I don't know, it's mooi. So yeah, stuff like that, or listening to music. I'm not a super fan of Dutch music because it's yeah, I don't know, I think the language doesn't really help, but yeah, just that. I started doing that, and then picking up some things. And in Barcelona as well, I had Dutch roommates as well. So yeah, it was just listening to them, imitating what they said, asking my boyfriend, how do you say this, how do you say that? So I sort of started learning how to do like a little small talk, or to really refine my my accent in Dutch with the very few words that I know. But I learned, if you know your accent, people will take you more serious.
It does definitely help. I think it's a big part of learning a language is pronunciation.
Yeah, and Dutch people really appreciate when you speak Dutch to them.
Yeah.
Even if you say like one word, because they're like, oh wow, how our language has transcended so much that somebody that is from the other side of the world knows how to speak or tries to speak. So that's so cool. So yeah, that's basically why I started.
Right. So you kind of just started to immerse yourself around the Dutch people you knew, you know, like using that to slowly grow your knowledge of the language. And I also think what you said about like finding content that you're already interested in, but then just in Dutch, I think that's a super good way to learn a language, because it's like you're motivated to watch the thing because it's something you're interested in.
Exactly.
And then you pick up the Dutch along the way.
I think that for our generation, our generation, everybody learn how to speak English by watching Disney Channel and YouTube. So like, why not doing the same thing but for another language? So for instance, if you like a series that you've watched so many times already that you know exactly what's going to happen, the plot and everything, you can watch it in Dutch. And then you maybe like pick up some words, some meanings, some jokes that make immerse you more into the culture.
And did you ever take like an actual formal Dutch class, or have you just kind of learned by
nothing besides Duolingo?
Okay. But that's impressive, because I feel like you know quite a lot.
No, well, for instance, we have the opportunity to pick a language next year in IC, in international communication. So I will definitely pick Dutch because I mean, I'm living here, and I know I'm not going to be C2 or even A1 by the time I graduate, because it's very complicated. But anyway, it's I'm living here. I feel that it's a sign of respect as well for the land that you're living in. And it's also so cool. Like, we have the opportunity to like travel around Europe. Every country speaks a different language. So it's so cool to be able to be in the culture and learn the language at the same time. Yeah,
no, I totally agree. I grew up in the US, but I was born in Germany, so I also speak German. So I've also been learning Dutch, and the German helps a lot. I think I have a little bit of an advantage there.
Dutch people say no, it's completely different.
It's pretty similar.
It's pretty similar, guys.
Especially once you start learning it, like you see all the similarities. And I actually have been like doing classes. I take classes at the language center at the
Ooh, how is that?
I have actually really enjoyed it. They have a class.
Which level are you on?
Now I'm in the B1 to B2 class.
Okay.
I don't know if I would call myself B2 yet, especially with my speaking. Right, but no, I've really enjoyed it. I did the one specifically for German speakers, which is really cool that they have that, because it's like tailored to what you already know, but also the regular ones I'm sure are great too. And I've met other students who are wanting to learn Dutch in it, made friends. The teachers are great, so I would definitely recommend. And I think if you're a student, they're free. I'm not sure about Hansa students. Maybe it's
they're not. I already looked at it.
That's a shame.
Meow, meow, meow. I know. But they also have a discount anyway.
Okay.
So it's cheaper than if you were not a student.
Yeah, so that's definitely a good way if you're wanting to take a Dutch class. But then I also, my boyfriend is also Dutch.
Period.
So he has Dutch family and... Girl, no. His grandparents also, like, they speak a little bit of English, but it's like, you know, tough, and also they just want to be able to speak Dutch. So I'm also, you know, trying to learn so I can communicate with them. And
I feel that you've had the same feeling. For instance, every time I went to the dinner, like Christmas dinners, I'm like, I don't want them to, like, I'm the guest there, you know what I mean? Like, I get that they want to speak the language they are like comfortable speaking, and also I'm in the Netherlands, so like I'm not expecting people to speak English to me. I'm the one who has to, like, girl, learn. Like, but yeah, they always, of course, make the effort, you know, to
Yeah.
try to like speak to me in English, but I know that sometimes they just want to speak about
Yeah.
their own things.
And I just feel like it's like easier to connect with someone in their own
Absolutely.
language. A lot of the time, really makes a huge difference, and it shows that you're putting in that effort, that like you want to have a relationship with them and
Yeah,
connect
exactly.
with them. Yeah. So do you and your boyfriend speak Dutch on a regular basis, or do you just speak English all the time? What do you guys
Actually,
do?
our house is really fun because we speak Spanish, English, and Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we'll spend so much time together that we don't realize that people don't speak those three languages on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I'm like at school and then I say something like, vale. And they're like, oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Or with my mom, I'm like, oh, no, mama, nay. No, no, I mean, no, nay, no.
Yeah.
So stuff like that. And, but yeah, he speaks fluent Spanish and I don't want him to forget it. So at home, I also try to speak more Spanish with him. So yeah, we basically, well, I encourage people to like, if you know one word in Dutch, try to repeat it as much as you can. So then you completely internalize it. So for instance, when we go to Jumbo or whatever, I'm like, oh yeah, we have to buy some brood. Or oh look, the kaas is on promotion. Stuff like that. And then you really start to integrate it into your language and it becomes so easier afterwards to, you don't even think about it.
Yeah. When you go out, like you go grocery shopping or to a cafe, do you order in Dutch and like talk to people in Dutch?
Yes. Well, at first I was not, of course. But then I started listening to people, like when you're in the line in front of you, like how are they ordering? Because I feel it's such a small moment, you know, you're not going to have a proper conversation with the person that is making you coffee. But I feel it's so good to like try to, you know, order in Dutch. So I learned how to order in Dutch. And I do it now. I ask for my coffee like in Dutch and everything. And I remember once I did it here at Hanse in the canteen, and then the woman was saying other things to me, as like probably like how's the weather like, or such a nice weather today. I didn't understand. I was like,
no, that's happened to me too before. And then it's so awkward because then they think you understand what they're saying, and then you have to like be like,
they ask you a question and you're like,
yeah, low key, that sometimes is what keeps me from ordering in Dutch, because I'm scared they're gonna ask me something back, and then I'm gonna be like, I don't know. Yeah, I really should do it more, but I am sometimes like just scared because the pressure of like in the moment that I overthink, and then I'm like something could come out wrong. But no.
Like I don't want to look stupid. Like sometimes, for instance, I prefer my coffee with oat milk. But there were so many times like before I knew how to say oatmeal, and I still don't really remember how to say it. So sometimes I just ask for regular milk, but because I don't want to say ik wil een koffie verkeerd. But with oatmeal, please.
I think it's havermelk.
Havermelk, yeah, so see, like, so that's something I still have to, like, put in my language.
Yeah, but like, sometimes when you're just missing one word, then it stops you from, like, even trying.
And you're in your head, like,
you want it to be perfect. Yeah.
Ben je dom? Nee.
Yeah, also, what that makes me think of is, like, social situations with Dutch people. When you're, like, with a Dutch group of friends, I've experienced just kind of like, you don't want to be the person that makes everybody speak English. Yeah. And you want to be, you know, part of the conversation, but sometimes it's hard. Like if it's like at a party and it's like loud or there's music, like I feel like I've really struggled to like keep up sometimes. Have you experienced that?
Yeah. Yes, I have experienced that as well. But I also feel that like, I mean, we have to understand that the Netherlands is one of the highest English proficiency countries in Europe. Above the UK. No, I'm kidding. But everybody speaks English. Yeah. And sometimes you can like get the feeling of like one person who generally just don't want to speak English with you, or they don't want to make you feel comfortable in the situation. It's like, bro, you know how to speak English. I've heard you. Just speak English for whatever you're saying. We want to have a nice conversation. Yeah. So you have like those two worlds. Either one where you're like, yes, I'm a guest here. I don't have to, like, I don't want to interrupt any conversation that you guys are having. And another one that is like, come on, make me feel welcome. Yeah. You know? But yeah, so since if you start paying attention to the words and how they communicate and everything, something I do is I get into the conversation anyway, but speaking English because I understand what you're saying, but I don't know how to reply in Dutch or how to get in there in Dutch. Yeah. So I say it in English, and then they automatically start speaking English to me because I'm understanding what they're saying. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I think That's so true, and it is such a luxury that like everybody here, like a lot of young people speak English. So, but I think the flip side of that is that you're not absolutely forced to learn Dutch. Like I feel like if you were in another country, you move to another country where people don't really speak English as much, then it's like, okay, you really have to learn the language.
Yeah.
Here, I feel like sometimes because you can get away with not learning it, it's harder to motivate yourself to really become fluent.
100%, 100%. And actually, it also depends on the friends you have, because for instance, you have a Dutch boyfriend, all right, but people who don't have Dutch friends or don't have a Dutch a Dutch person in their surroundings and everything is international orientated, they are not gonna even try to learn Dutch, because even if they live here, you know, but it's like, since I don't need it, why would I? But I feel again it's a sign of respect, and it's like, you're coming here, and the cool fun of studying abroad is to emerge in the culture that you're in. So I think that one of the best ways is to actually try to learn the language, because by learning the language you don't only learn how to speak, but also how to interact and the different ways of them, like how they communicate with each other, how do they treat each other, and stuff like that. So it's very rich. It's not only about the language itself, but about the culture that surrounds that.
Yeah, for sure. Do you feel like learning Dutch has helped you kind of better understand the Dutch culture and immerse
100%.
yourself into it?
100%. And it's so fun because you also feel that you belong here.
Yeah.
Or like you're making your little place, you know? Like I'm an outsider, as you can clearly see. But by interacting with other people that speak Dutch, and I speak Dutch with them as well, or try to like have their humor, you know, and stuff like that, it's like, oh yeah, actually, you know what? I think I fit in here. I'm making my little...
That's super nice.
Gezellig, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So you said that you brought a little survival guide, some of your top important words. So do you want to give us a little Dutch lesson?
Yes. Well, so I have some words. They're very basic. So if you're already like her B2, you're going to be like, I know that already. Yeah, but a lot of people don't, and especially internationals. So let's start from the beginning. How to greet somebody. Hoi, of course. Everywhere you go, to the bus, in the supermarket, whatever. Hoi, hoi, which means hi, of course. But if you want to be a little bit, you know, step further than that, you can try goedendag, goedemorgen, you know, good morning, good day, something more. And remember to... it's goede, not good. We don't live in Groningen, we live in Groningen. So
that's a tough one for people to learn sometimes, I think.
Absolutely. Even for Dutch people.
I literally feel like when I first started trying to speak Dutch, sometimes my throat would actually hurt, like physically. Like I would be trying to speak Dutch for like an hour in class or something. I mean maybe I was doing it wrong.
Why do you think Dutch people eat so much honey? Because they do have a problem.
And a lot of tea.
And a lot of tea.
Maybe that's why.
Correct. Maybe that's why. So yeah, talking about tea, something that you should learn is the word lekker. You can use it anywhere, really. It means tasty, yummy, nice. When you are eating something, you're like, lekker. Or, you can say lekker like to a person, I think.
Yeah, but that's a little bit more like...
That's another level, guys. I would say B1. For that one. Then, of course, we live in Groningen. Mooi. Of course, mooi means beautiful. You can say that, or like nice as well. So you can say that somebody's mooi, or that
like
that
the weather is mooi.
The weather
can also be lekker.
Lekker, mooi. Period. She knows her things. She knows her lines, actually. Well, to say, of course, thank you. You also always have to say thank you. So, dankjewel, alsjeblieft is...
like you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. So yeah, really important. Then if anybody asks you like, who are you? You know, what's your name? You say, my naam is ... So for instance, for me, my naam is Tabata.
My naam is Sara.
Period. Zij ben Sara?
Zij is
Sara.
I think.
You know, I'm still A1, guys. I'm still A1. She's B2. You know. So then when you're in the shop, what we were talking about before, you can say, everybody pays by card, right? So you can say, met pin betalen. Met de pin.
Or you can say just like, pinnen alsjeblieft.
Period. That sounds more proficient. As you can see, A1, B1.
No.
Then to say yes, you can say precies or top instead of just saying ja, you know, a little bit stepping up. You can say if somebody approaches you, if you are having a great conversation in Dutch with your little words, and then they start to talk really fast and you're like panicking, you say, oh, sorry, ik spreek geen Nederlands. Sorry, ik spreek geen Nederlands. Ik spreek Engels or Spaans, like me, or anything else, really. So, yeah, that. And then to say goodbye, of course, doei doei, tot ziens, fijne avond, fijne dag. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes. And for that, you can survive. That's your first year.
Yeah. Those are definitely the basics. I feel like something that's so Dutch to me is when you see two people biking together, but then they're going their separate ways, and it's like, doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo.
Yeah. And then they do ting ting with the bells. I'm like, damn. But yeah, people biking together. That was, I think, my first cultural shock in here in the Netherlands. To see people literally biking this close. And they were not like, they were talking to each other like this, so they were not looking in front, but they were biking so well. I was like, or people who hold hands while biking, cute, but wow, you know.
Biking as a whole, I think we need to do a biking episode.
Oh, absolutely. I also have a lot of stories for that.
Maybe you'll have to come back.
Bike is fiets in Dutch, also for you to know.
Yes, very important.
Very important.
Another important word, gezellig.
Oh,
what does gezellig mean to you? How would you define
gezellig
it?
Is comfy, is nice, is like warm. It's being like wholesome. Wholesome means gezellig.
Yes, for sure. Like
What
that
a cute
warm
word.
community.
Yes, when
feeling.
you're like having a fun, nice vibe with your friends, you're like, oh, dit is zo gezellig. Gezellig.
For
Mooi.
sure. Is there anything else about learning Dutch? Another funny story you've had or experience that you want to share?
Well, every time I speak Dutch, say whatever in Dutch, they're like, oh, wow, you speak so good. One word, guys. But thank you. Dankjewel. So I generally encourage people to do it because people really like to listen to it. I also come from Barcelona, and they speak another language in there as well besides Spanish, Catalan. And same thing in there. If you try to speak Catalan to somebody, like just saying one or two words, it genuinely already... it already shows that you care about the place that you're living and you are genuinely trying to make it your place. Like, this is not only a vacation time, this is not only a temporary thing, or maybe it is, but you want to make the most out of it. So please, people, try to speak a little bit Dutch. And I know that it's difficult, but also by saying to yourself like, oh no, it's too difficult, I'm never gonna do it, I'm not gonna be good at it, why would I even try? Just try. It's fun.
Yeah, I know like some people who have become fluent in Dutch from not speaking it before, and it's like amazing, and it shows that it is possible. Like, if you put your mind to it,
it's all about
you can be a
the
Dutchie
mindset,
like everyone
the
else.
growth mindset.
Yes.
Period.
Other than what
But-
we've already talked about, do you have any like major tips for like the actual learning of Dutch?
Go to the supermarket and really remember how to say things.
And read the labels.
Read the labels, yes. Listen to people. When you're in a cafe, listen to what they say. Don't be noisy though, but you know, listen to like how they greet each other or how they say, because women speak so different than men, and girls to boys, and old people to young people.
Yeah, that's also like an important cultural part, you know, of how
100%.
people actually use the language in real
Yeah,
life.
because you don't want to, because like for instance, Duolingo is awesome for the basics. So if you can't download it, because it's also fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's just basics. Like, I'm not gonna live by just saying boterham, you know, forever. So listen to people, and people are so just funny because Dutch people use a lot of sounds. I've noticed, because I'm a very paying attention to detail. So they say echt the whole time. I'm like, damn. Or hè? Have you noticed? They say hè, and I'm like, get a gum first. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, they say like top, and it's all the whole time is like sounds, so it's really fun to listen to it, because then I'm at home, for instance, and I say like to my boyfriend. He's like, where did you learn that now? I just heard it at school. So yeah.
So going forward, you said you're planning to take a Dutch class
Yes.
soon. And then like long term, is it your goal to like become fluent in Dutch? Like, do you think it'll be important for your career maybe one day, or how do you think about that?
I mean, I think that the more languages that you can speak, the better, of course, because they also help you a lot in your brain. It like makes you have less chances of getting, for instance, dementia and stuff like that, because it generally activates the brain.
Yeah.
And is my goal being fluent? Absolutely. But my head would be this big because the language is so complicated. But as soon as I hit the moment where I'm like, you know what? I can do my taxes in Dutch. Whoa, first of all. Second, yes, I'll be like, yeah, I made it. That's really fun.
That's a big achievement.
Yeah, and it'll be my fourth language.
Wow. Wait, so English, Spanish, Dutch, and what's...
Catalan.
And Catalan.
Period. Because yes, it is a language. But yeah, it's... yeah, I really like Dutch. I think it's really complicated. So if I hit that, I'm like, next one, Chinese. I'm unstoppable, people.
Awesome. Well, I think that's it. Thank you so much for talking with me. This was so fun.
Thank you. Dankjewel.
Yeah, dankjewel. Thank you guys for listening, and tune into our next episode. Bye.
Doei doei. Tot ziens.